Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Misfit One Lifestyles. And I'm your host, Elizabeth Colen, also known as Misfit One. Guys, my guest today is epic. You know,
Whoa.
radio is the theater of the mind, where television is the theater of the mindless. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Okay. And my guest today is none other than Angi Taylor. How you doing, boo?
hello, Misfit One, Miss Elizabeth. You look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Thank
I'm
you.
like so excited to meet you. You have been just changing the game. You are coming in and not playing. You are a radio host, right? Well, tell the people what you do. Tell the people.
I'll tell the people. So, my name is Angie Taylor. As you said, I am a 25-year radio veteran. Now I'm showing
Yes.
my age. You can see my gray hairs. Like I look like B. Arthur right now. I have not had my hair done in a second. So 25 years of radio where I was a co-host on a morning show every single show that I was on. And last month, we launched a new station at iHeart Media in Chicago called Rock 95.5. And for the first time in my entire career, I am hosting my own show, The Angi Taylor Show on Rock 95.5.
Congratulations. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
hey, hey.
Because that's so epic, man. That is so exciting. 25 years in the game.
It's been a long time coming. Can we swear on this show? Probably not.
Listen.
Okay.
This is we gonna be 100%
Okay.
authentic. This is
Thank
what we
you.
do here.
Miss Elizabeth, I always said if I had a dick, I would have had my own show 20 years ago. But
Bam.
it doesn't happen that way sometimes. And so it's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of just, I feel like as women, a lot of times we're conditioned to take what we get, be happy with it, don't like rifle any feathers and don't make any, no sudden movements, don't
Move. Yeah,
upset the
yeah.
apple cart, so it's really nice to finally have, well, this company is always taking care of me, but to have an immediate boss that was like, you know what, I told him what my dream was. He was like, cool. We talked about it over tequila. The next day he still remembered, so I was
Oh,
very, shout out to James Howard. um,
yeah.
and the next day he was like, let's work on making this happen. And so this show has been a while coming. Like it was supposed to happen at the beginning of this year. COVID happened, all these things happen, as every other company has. We've had to furlough people and blah blah blah. So there's a part of me that feels, I'm very happy for what I've achieved, but I'm also looking at a lot of coworkers that have been laid off this year and furloughed this year. And it's
Yeah.
hard to celebrate when I see a lot of people that have been working as long as I have, as hard as I have, sitting on the
Yeah.
sidelines now, but that's what's going on today.
Yeah, and you bring up a very valid point. 2020 has been amazing for me,
Right.
but not so much for everybody else. So
Right.
you don't want to be like, "Yay, I'm killing it." And then you're like, "Wait, no, I don't." It's so true. You don't know how to respond.
Yeah. And I also feel like, there's so many struggles going on this year,
Yeah,
so many people that we're losing due to this COVID, and just, people that are displaced with their work and everything. I really feel like we are being tested. Our resolve is being tested as humans. I feel like on the other side of this, there is so much greatness. And
yeah.
I hope that everybody that's listening to you realizes that there's something on the other side. We just have to keep hanging on.
Right. I agree. You know what? I think of it as like the dinosaurs. Remember the big boom?
Yes.
This is our big boom. And if
Oh,
we do not pivot
hmm.
and learn to get in this game, learn to do our Zoom, people bitch about it, but this is the only way we can communicate at this moment. So embrace it.
And thank God we have it. Can you
Right.
imagine? I mean, I don't know about you. I'm 47 years old. Imagine 20 years ago if this would have happened. We didn't have the internet, the computers, the Zooms, all of that. Our
Right. Right.
technology has advanced so much in the last 20 years. we would really feel isolated and really feel separated from each other as a people.
Yeah.
So at least we have this. And yes, it's annoying. And yes, our kids are in the background bugging us, and this and that is going on. And it's not easy to help them e-learn, and we're doing
Right.
meetings. But at the same time, we have Amazon, we have DoorDash, we have delivery, we have things that are making it a pandemic as smooth as it could be.
It
I
could be,
guess.
yeah. I
Yeah.
agree because they have the like you can even order your groceries,
Right.
And I'm just a year ahead of you. I'm 48. So
Okay. Oh, and looking
it's
good.
like you too, girlfriend, you too. It's
Thank
crazy.
you. Look what it does.
Yes, girl, we coming into it. I'm ready for that 50. Like, come
I'm
on
ready
through.
for 50. Yes, I am so ready for 50. It's so funny because my husband said that the other day. My 47th birthday is actually on Thursday, and my husband's like, "Are you nervous about turning 47?" I'm like, "Why would I be? I'm so proud." Listen, this is what I do, Elizabeth. When I tell people how old I am, if they don't go 47, I'm like, "Wait a minute. Did you hear what I just said?"
Let me
I don't
repeat that again because I was trying to get to that when you were saying that. I didn't want to cut you off because I was like, my eyes went, but I couldn't say nothing.
I need the reaction. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I'm always proud of it because look at Misfit One. You work your butt off and look how good you look.
Yeah, you too. I mean, that's part of our lifestyle, right? That's the whole lifestyle. This is not we got to 47 and 48 looking like this on accident.
I mean, some of it is, I think, genetic. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
Some of it's genetic. I will attribute wine to a lot of that as well. But
absolutely. I'm with you. Look, I'm
health
with you,
properties.
girlfriend.
Health
Yeah. It's so crazy how this pandemic has really changed the game. Like you said, you were supposed to launch your Angi Taylor show
properties.
earlier, but you didn't. But tell us, how did you pivot during this COVID?
Well, the pivot was, I knew what was supposed to happen, but
Hmm.
also there were so many distractions inside of COVID where it was, well, how am I going to take care of my family? I'm a married mother of a 15-year-old girl. And
Oh,
yes, who's amazing. But immediately as a mom, I think my instinct went to how's my family dealing? How are my friends dealing? How is, my grandmother dealing and
oh
and
yeah,
and things like that. So the focus was not, about that. The focus was more about what we do to survive day to day,
right.
like our coping mechanisms. How are we dealing mentally, physically, emotionally? Like there's so many things involved. And, as a mother and as a wife, I feel a role to make sure that my family is stable in that way. And so that immediately was my first concern.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I knew that things would come eventually, but I can't sit here and say, oh, poor me, my show's not happening when COVID is happening, when there are protests and riots and all these things happening in Chicago, in my city, when I'm watching my city burn half to the ground for a reason. But like there was a million different emotions, but the
Right,
last thing I was concerned about was myself and my show.
right, right,
And
right.
because we're all in survival mode, right? Whether it's survival mode, I don't care if you're rich and have the most secure job in the world, you're surviving somehow, if it's not mentally, physically, spiritually, whatever it is, emotionally.
Yes,
So you go into that, I think.
I agree because you said earlier, basically, my whole platform is fit, right? Focus, intentional, and transforming. And I hear you talk. I heard your story. I was doing all my research for this, and you are the perfect example of that. And I love how you were not only fit in your industry, but also in your family. And that's my first time hearing about your family and all that. So that's a really great point because a lot of times people focus on one thing in their life,
Yeah,
and then the other side is like batshit crazy, you
right.
know, because they didn't put any intention in that, And I praise you because having a kid at home for e-schooling, I don't know, did y'all go back to school yet?
She has done both. She's kind of like, she can do some at home, she can do some at school. She just had a situation where one of her teachers tested positive for COVID, so they were out for
No.
a couple weeks, and then they're back. Like it's a lot of back and forth. And so I'm trying to maintain a 15-year-old girl's, spirit, which is hard. I remember,
On the regular. Yeah.
right, when we were 15, we didn't have to deal with a pandemic, school shootings, all these things that are going on in their lives. That is so much more, there's so much more gravity to what they're dealing with. And, we probably thought like our world was crumbling every
Right.
day for
Because I
whatever.
couldn't get Jordache jeans. I can't
Hi.
get
Hi. I
I'm
can't
never
go
gonna
roller
make it.
skating this weekend. I'm grounded. What?
Uh,
Yeah, exactly. MTV is out. What?
oh.
Exactly. So they're dealing with situations that I mean, it's hard enough to cope as a teenager. And so, and then, you have the whole other aspect of being married and being in a home with somebody where you're working from home all the time. And God, I love my husband so much, 10 years strong, but
Speak,
I could
speak.
wring somebody's damn neck after a few minutes. And I'm like, don't you have an office? You could probably go back now. Like
You
just
safe.
so, like, I don't care how much you love somebody, like being in close proximity and tight quarters and on lockdown, it's hard.
It's
And
very tough. Yeah.
yeah, and so life is always a juggling act as it is, especially when you're a woman, a
Yes.
professional woman with a family. So this has just brought a whole new, you
It
know,
went to a whole nother level.
another level. And
It
that's why
was
I'm saying after this, nothing could kill us because we made it through all of this
correct.
and learned to live in a different way.
In a
That
different way. Yeah.
right. I think life just came at us and said, y'all are spoiled. You take everything for granted. And some people are reconnecting with their families. Some people are maybe realizing they're not supposed to be with their families. So, or losing their jobs or finding new passions in life
Right.
that
Yeah.
lead them to better things or
Yeah.
finding their faith or whatever it is. I just feel like everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even in the darkest of times, which we're in our lifetime right now, I feel like there are beautiful moments that are coming from it that maybe we can't see right now, but
Correct. Yeah.
we'll see it on the other side.
It's like the world is in a timeout. Right
Hmm.
now, the whole world is in a timeout. And so in this timeout, I feel that you said it perfectly. We learn our passions, we learn our purpose. We're not distracted by the hustle and bustle of the day,
Yeah,
and just trying to survive. Because before, we just thriving and trying to survive and doing what we do, we were
right.
in a rat race, like over and over and over. But this time has made us sit back and go, well, wait, huh?
Yes,
And
and a lot of those times, when before the pandemic, I just feel like life is moving, and we're just kind of moving with it, and we're not really paying attention to the noise, the noise around us because we're so used to the noise, and now we have to sit and listen to it, and we have to see what's happening in the world. We have to see what's happening on the street. We have to see what's happening in our government, and
right.
so we really have to sit and marinate in this moment, and it's a pivotal time.
Yeah, it's very tough. It's very tough. You hit on it too. When you married, thank God my kids are all grown. You know what I mean? All my kids are out of the house. So my
Good.
youngest graduated from college. She'll be
Awesome.
21 in a couple of days. Um,
In a couple of
so
days?
the what is yeah, 25th?
Ooh, are you
When
gonna
is
take
your
her out
birthday?
for her? Mine's the 22nd. Are you gonna take her out for her first beer?
No, listen, she come from the college life. She been drinking her
I
first
know,
beer.
that's what I'm saying. This is a joke. Like, oh, I get to
Yeah.
have my first beer at 21. Like,
Yeah,
like I
here's the
never
thing.
have.
She get to buy it for the first time. She always,
But she gets to buy mama beer out at the club.
I love it. Yes, yes, yes. It's a weird thing. But my husband and I have been together, what, 7 years? And I would have swore at the beginning of this that somebody was going to have to bail me out of jail. Like, I'm going to go ahead and give you my bail money, my code. I'm going to tell you where to get me at. But it has forced us to connect. Like, I can be mad, but where I'm going,
Right.
what you
Yeah.
gonna do?
Yes, and that's the beauty of it too, because I feel like a lot of people that are married, sometimes when things get really hard, it's so easy to bail. Like
Yes.
it's easy to call a lawyer and say, I want out. We're in
Hmm.
a pandemic. You're stuck in a house with somebody and you're kind of like, where are you going to go? You're going to sit
Right.
and work these problems
You
out.
have to
Otherwise,
work it out.
yeah, or you're going to be in a miserable house.
Right.
So, yeah, that's a different dynamic for sure.
But speaking on that, a lot of people, the divorce rate has
Yeah.
went up
Yeah.
because, but it's to what you were saying earlier. It's no more distractions. You have to look it in the face.
Yeah.
It's no more I have to work late and come in and go to bed and this and that. You can't hide from it anymore. So
Right. Those people that are the divorce rates going up, those are a lot of times probably people that were just gliding through.
yep.
And, day to day, Monday through Friday, we're doing our work, blah, blah, blah. The weekends are for the kids, not really paying attention to the marriage. And when you sit and look at what the marriage is, it's like, oh, shit, this ain't what it's supposed to be.
Right. I don't think this thing is working. I don't think this thing is working.
All been like fronting for a really long time that everything's cool, but yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. And I have to say, my husband and I I mean, it's been amazing, which I did not think it would have been, like he's working from home, but he working in his man cave and I
Good.
work in my office, and we may see each other in the day for lunch, but we definitely, it's just like as if we were really going to the office, right?
You
So we
guys, okay, so could you maintain this? Would you want to maintain this after COVID? You're okay with all that?
So I am okay
Okay.
with that. What I do miss though is going out with my friends and the
Cool.
social, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, once a week I would love to go and hang out with my girls and
Yeah.
have wine and drink and laugh. That's what I miss, and go listen to live music and going to the opera and the theater and all those things. I miss that.
Yes, that is the hardest part. I mean, I can tell you're a social person like I am, not seeing your friends. Oh my God. I was saying on the air the other day, I would give anything to be in a packed club with somebody spilling beer on me watching a concert. Like
Right,
before I would
right.
complain about it, but
Yeah,
please, like put me in that mess because I would
right.
love to be at a sweaty festival with somebody throwing up in front of me. That would be great.
It's like, did you see that? That's the highlight right there. That's the highlight. Yeah. It's
Exactly.
just true. It's true. Again, we have to change our mindset. Like, what are we thinking?
Yeah.
Um, because not only are we stuck at home, people would, and you are an advocate for this, the mental illness,
Yes.
right?
Mental health is Girl, the mental health is being pushed to the absolute limits right now. And I don't care if you never had a mental health concern before, I guarantee you everybody has one now. I have struggled with mental health my entire life. I came from a really abusive home. So from the time I was probably 6 or 7 years old, I didn't know what it was then. I
Right.
didn't know what anxiety was then. I didn't know any of that until I became an adult, and it manifested in so many different ways, through work, through relationships,
Right.
just day to day trying to live. And once I figured out what it was, I suffer from anxiety, depression, PTSD, ADD, OCD. I mean, you name it. I have the nice mixed bag of everything that goes on. And going through what we've gone through this year, anybody that has even a
Hmm.
smidge of that, it's
Hmm.
amplified times a million, and it just manifests itself in so many different ways. And I just really hope that people are taking the time to take care of their mental health and check themselves, because nobody else is going to check you. You have to, even if you can't go to a therapist, all the therapists are doing Zooms now. They can prescribe meds for you and do the whole thing. So it's so important, because this is it we're all, like I said, we're in survival mode
Yep.
in every single way, whether it's through our
Hmm.
jobs, our family life, and especially our mental health, our physical health. So
Hmm.
mental health is, if that falls apart, what do we have? If our mental or physical health falls apart, what do we have? We have nothing.
Right.
So, if you have a broken arm, you go to the doctor. If you're struggling mentally, you have to go to the doctor, because everything else is going to fall apart. It's just so important. And I'm trying to erase that stigma.
Right.
Um,
And you're doing a great job on it because I don't know about your culture. Tell them a little bit about your heritage and then we'll go into it a little
yeah.
bit more.
Well, I feel like we probably have the same issue in our culture. So my culture, I'm right off the boat Serbian. My family, their solution for every problem is to just fight it out
Oh, okay.
and is over, sweep it under the rug. But it doesn't, like those fights and and some of them get real nasty, they don't go away. The pain doesn't really go away.
Correct.
And so that's not the way to deal with things. And the way of dealing with things is we don't deal with things. We don't talk about those things. You know,
Yeah.
I'll scream at you about those things and then it's over. It's like, well, you just called me every name in the book and said I was worthless and said I was this. And so that doesn't go away from me.
Mm-mm.
And those things stay.
You know what? I use the example of because they used to. My husband is. I'm putting all his business out there. Look, he's not listening. He don't know. Uh,
Okay.
but my husband is. We both are very A personalities, right?
Yep.
So my husband will say something. He goes for the juggler because that's what he does. And then I
Yep.
go, wait a minute, what? Like I wasn't trying to kill you, but you putting daggers out, right?
Right.
So then he goes, well, I'm from the era that sticks and stones break your bones, but words never hurt you.
But they
And
hurt.
I said, listen, let's say you have a wall at your house. You take a hammer
Mhm.
and you nail the wall, put nails in there. Every time you said something mean, a word, right? Go ahead, do it all this time. And then go back and say you sorry. And then pull the nail out. There's
Mm.
still holes there.
Fill holes. And I'm trying to learn how to fight it the
Right,
right way
right.
because what your husband says kind of makes sense to me
Yeah.
because in our family, it was all a screaming match and a contest of who could win the fight. Instead of
Yes.
coming together and trying to solve the problem, it was who won the fight.
Hmm.
And what you said about the holes in the wall makes so much sense. I'll never forget, Elizabeth, when I was in like kindergarten, they did this exercise with us in school.
Okay.
And they made us have this little paper sign. It was called an ILAC sign. And it's an acronym that stands for I am lovable and capable. So
Oh,
you wore it like, around your neck and you took it home and you had to come back to school the next day with it. But every time somebody made you not feel lovable or capable, you had to rip off a little piece. So a lot of people will come back to school with it fully intact. Some people had it ripped up a little bit. I had two little strings when I came back to school.
it's like it made one day. Oh my
Right. But
gosh.
like words hurt. And that's the
Words
thing,
hurts.
if you punch somebody in the face and you immediately say, I'm sorry, well, they still got a bruise. It still hurts.
And it's still stinking.
And they're still mad. So I
Yeah.
think people need to know that like words are everything. It's
Yeah.
hard when you're in that moment though. I understand with two type A's because my husband and I are both the same. We go for the jugular and we've had those fights where it's like, ooh, I
Right.
better leave the house before I call the police because
Right. 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 Yeah.
yeah. So
And it was crazy is, and I don't even know how two A's get together. You know what I mean? That's like fire and gasoline. When it's good, it's grand, but when it's bad, it's bad. It's like, whoa,
you
right?
you
Because,
know how they get together because A's are very dynamic. Your husband's
correct.
dynamic, you're
Yeah.
dynamic. When you guys first started dating, it was probably
Paradise, fireworks.
explosions, like woo, everything's amazing. But that first fight, you're like, oh, uh-oh, this is bad.
This is bad. This is bad. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if we're gonna make it through this thing, but my husband is, and this is one of my things too. I believe in every marriage there is a cat and a dog. And
Mm,
what I mean about that is a cat, I'm a cat. Like I don't want to be bothered. I want to be rubbed when I want to be rubbed. And
yeah,
I want to come out to eat when I hear something like food,
yeah.
I'm a cat. Like I want to be by myself. You got to kind of take me out. My husband is the dog because you can cuss him out and they go, so do you want to eat? Who do you want? You want to go get some seafood? You want to go eat? I'm like, did you just hear what I said? Yeah, yeah. You want to go to the movies? You want to? He could care less what I say. So, like a
You just
dog will
blew,
love you.
you blew my mind on that. you blew my mind. I feel like I am the cat too, and my
I was
husband.
just supposed to say, who's the cat and the dog in your relationship?
Listen, I talk for a living, so I'm constantly engaging and having conversations and blah blah blah. So when I get home, I want to kind of like hibernate a little bit. I want to be a
Mhm.
cat on the couch.
Yes,
I want
yes.
to watch my Real Housewives and have my wine and whatever. But like the dog sometimes comes at me. And just,
Hey, you want
come
to
on.
do this? You want to go do that? You
Yeah,
want to go
yeah,
do this? You want
yeah.
to? I'm like, leave me the.
Yeah. That's so crazy. I never heard that analogy, but that's so perfect.
I
I'm gonna
think I
steal it.
made that up.
I'm gonna regurgitate that, Elizabeth, and I'm gonna
Go
give you
ahead.
full credit. I'll give you full credit.
Do it, do it, do it. I think that would be a great podcast, right?
That's a great topic. Who's the dog?
Cats and
Who's the
dogs.
cat? And why? And why are you the dog? And why are you the cat?
Yeah. And because it all has a, like you said, you come from a family that argued and screamed, and so did he. They just screamed for a normal.
Yes,
I mean, even just to say, give me the remote. Yeah, I'm like, what is the noise about?
right.
But I have been in so much self-care, trying to learn me, therapy, tools, because I'm sure I have all of those that you have too,
Hmm.
but I just wasn't diagnosed.
Right. But you're managing, and that's the thing that is so important. Like nobody needs an exact diagnosis all the time because, and honestly, some people don't even want that. They don't even want to know that. All I'm saying is if you like, I'll never be able to beat this, so to speak. It's not a
Correct.
disease that I'm ever going to beat. All I can
Correct.
do is manage it.
Manage.
So,
Yes.
yes, if you can find a way to manage it, whether it be through fitness or, therapy or medication or whatever it is, like find your way to just deal and cope and get through day to day. Cause that's what we're trying to do is just like cope right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And with those things, not just right now, but life, right?
Always.
Because now right now is magnified
Yeah.
to the most. It's been days that because of all the stuff that's going on, and I just really, really, really don't believe America is that bad. Like I can't
It's
believe
not.
it's
It's not.
right.
It's not.
Exactly.
I feel like the people that have had a lot of things that they've wanted to say, but have been
There you
shamed for
go.
saying them, are now empowered to say.
Powered.
Yeah, they're empowered, and it's not a good empowered. It's a crazy empowered. But we're gonna put them back in their mama's basement and let them go back to their shame
Right.
hole at some
Right.
point. I hope.
I hope so too, Jesus. Oh.
Come on.
You got to script is, come on, Jesus. Come on, Jesus. I know. And isn't that crazy though? It's the most pivotal time.
Yeah.
And we're living in this. We're sitting in this. And I'm proud that we are a part of it, right?
Right.
But also kind of embarrassed that we are part of it.
It's a blessing and a curse what's going on
Mhm.
right now, especially with social media, with the negativity and things. But think about, it's in pertaining to Black Lives Matter and
Okay.
pertaining to the videos that we've been seeing. Um, Imagine how many videos we did not see, how many things were not caught on video,
Correct.
how all of these things, George Floyd, Breonna's, all of these deaths and all these tragic things that people said, oh, that didn't happen
It
because the
didn't
cops said
happen.
it didn't happen.
Right.
But there was no proof otherwise, and so there's something very honest about that part of it, but
Good
there's
point.
something very ugly on the other side because there's so much misinformation and so many wrong things that come out and people don't know what to believe anymore. And it's confusing, I'm sure,
Yeah.
to some people, but I'm happy that some things are that things like that are being called to light.
Yes.
um, but it's also bizarre. Like you really see how weird people are. with social. Like, you thought there were crazies before, but now we really know where the crazies are.
Right.
I don't even want to be on Facebook anymore, because if I see my auntie retweet one more like misinformation like thing, I'm like, oh
I'm
my
gonna knock on
God,
the door. Even in COVID, I gotta knock on your door. I gotta tell you
please,
something. Was
please.
so crazy. I am told I can't mess with Facebook. And
Can't.
again, people handle it differently. Let me tell you how I handle it, and then please share how you are handling it.
Okay.
So I am the one, like, I'm the, like the Wiz, don't bring me no bad news. That's
Hmm.
me. Don't
Hmm.
bring me no bad news. So when I'm like on Facebook and people are just saying all that stuff, misinformation,
Ignorance.
and being so loud about it and proud, like, are you? Ugh. So I got upset about it, and I unfollow. I don't want to see none of your stuff.
So you just unfollow. That's how you deal. The
I
block
deal.
button is your friends.
I
I,
am. I don't know how. My husband says, no, you got to see who they are. I don't want to see. Listen, I see it, and I don't want to be in, and they have their choice to say whatever they want. And my choice,
right.
right? So how do you deal with it?
Well, I love that you just said that, because that's the thing about everybody speaking their mind. It's a
Mhm.
free country, right?
Right,
We also have the option to oppose that and speak back and unfollow or block or speak out
right.
against what you're saying. That's, if you want to do a free country, we'll do it all
Let's
day.
go. Yeah.
Yeah. So I I wish I had the luxury, honestly, of checking out of a lot of this news and a lot of the things that go on. Unfortunately, because I have a
This is
radio
what you
show,
do. Yeah.
I have to stay on top of everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and just to be informed. And
Right.
so it does wear on me after a while. If it's a personal, if it's somebody that, I was a high school with and I don't really care, like,
Right. I see
are
what you're
these
saying.
people, yeah, like, then they get the block button right away. I,
Hmm.
I have to take in everything, absorb everything, and then speak about it in a way that is balanced and is also,
Non-biased. Yeah.
and it is non-biased, but is also my viewpoint too, because this is why I have my own show.
Right.
So it gets hard in that regard, because I wish I could turn off the noise sometimes. I
Right.
really do. But I do have that option when it comes to people, in my immediate circle.
Yeah.
If
That's
I
that's
don't,
that's me. Hmm.
yeah,
Hmm.
like if I'm done, like, and I honestly have had to do it with family members. I'm like,
That's
I
not.
can't take the negativity, can't take the this train and the that train, and I'm done with this. And
Don't give me no bad news.
please, and that's what my show is. And I really, when I started this show on Rock 95.5, every time you turn on the TV or the radio, it is constant COVID news, election news, Trump this, Trump, what did he do today? What did Kanye do today? Like, all the it's constant. And I'm like, I am not talking about that anymore, because you can get it everywhere else. And I'm coming to you with, hey,
That's
what's the biggest
exactly.
Halloween candy this year? What are we doing
Oh,
for, like, like, I just want to have a fun show
right.
where first thing in the morning when you wake up, is that what you want to listen to?
Correct. So tell us about your show. That's what we want to know. Tell us about your show, girlfriend.
So the show, it's 5 to 10 a.m., Rock 95.5 in Chicago, rock955chicago.com. You can find it on the iHeart app. So it's a 90s and 2000s rock station, 80s, 90s, 2000s. So, girl, the stuff that we grew up on. If you went to the
Yes.
big party, they were playing Van Halen and
Yes.
Motley Crue, those records. So
Yeah.
we're playing those songs that we grew up on, those rock anthems. It's fun. It's, music from a simpler time, a party time in our lives that we want to get back to one of these
Yeah. Yeah.
days.
The times
And
we just put on the skates and rode, right?
yes, exactly. And so my show, there's not a lot of female morning anchors in radio as it is. And with rock radio, there's only one in the top 10, and that's me. Because
Bam.
bam, hi, here I am. 25 years, like I said.
That, but that goes to everything I was saying. You were focused, you
Mhm.
moved with intention,
FIT, honey.
and you are transforming the game. You really are. So, like, listen, let me break it down a little bit for everybody who listening. When we say focus, intention, people think about it has to be hard or has to be this. But once you find your focus, and you tell me if I'm wrong, and because I heard you earlier
Mhm.
saying that you had this conversation with someone, correct?
Mhm.
For your own show. You gave
Yes.
him your dreams.
Yes.
And then you guys moved with intention.
Yes. And I'm transformed
Thank you.
because this is what I've always wanted. And part of that, though, I have to say, with the focus and especially with the intention part, I knew that I wanted this for so long. My
Yep.
problem was I did not ask for it. So sometimes, again, as women, we are
There you go.
conditioned not to rock the boat and ask for what we want. When I finally spoke up and said, you know what, I want my own show, they were like, okay, let's make that happen. I was like, what? Did I not ask that 20 years ago? Did I think somebody was going to come knock on my door and be like, hello, would you like a
Hey,
morning show in
would you
Chicago?
like?
Yeah. My intention was so late. So I
Right.
don't want your listeners to make that same mistake. Really, if there's something that you want, speak that, speak it, ask for it to the people that are in the position to elevate you to where you are. I always say, and I saw this actually, I've quoted this a million times since I saw Eminem and Dr. Dre talk about this. Eminem was saying there are innovators and there are elevators. Eminem
Oh,
said, I was the innovator. Dr. Dre was my elevator. Everybody needs an elevator, right? If you have an idea,
correct.
if you have somewhere you want to go in life, find your elevator and tell them. Goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
Innovators and elevators, which one are you? If you're the
Right.
innovator, find your elevator. If you're the elevator, help that person.
Right.
Help that
That's
person.
that's right there is worth everything because
Yes.
it's very true. I am so proud of you because
Love.
women really we do get the end of the stick, um because we were raised like you said, just be cute, don't say nothing, just be
You.
cute.
Don't make it
And
mad.
yes, isn't that like I failed at that the whole time. I'm like, yep, I'm not gonna make that one because my mouth like I say, God gave me a mouth. If he
Right.
didn't want me to use it, he
Right.
wouldn't have given it to me, right? But I do find that it is a scary thing to ask for
Mm-hmm.
what you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that a lot of times you ask for what you want and then you get it, and then you like, oh shit.
Oh,
You
that's
just
why.
call.
Be prepared. Be prepared. If somebody opens that door, you better kick it down and show them you belong inside that room, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
I've been preparing my entire life for it. I wish I would have asked for it sooner, but I was scared, like we
Everything
all
happens
are.
for a reason.
But
Mm-hmm.
everything happens in due time, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
the right situation at the right time. I believe in following our path, and a square peg in a round hole doesn't work, but eventually we get to where we're going. But yeah, like always put it out into the universe, because I really truly feel like people are good and they want to help other people succeed at the root of it all. So
I
if there's
agree.
somebody that you are voicing your desires to, your dreams to, that is in a position to help, they're going to try to help any way they can, even if it's them recommending you for a job or them putting you on to somebody that can help you somewhere. I really feel like it's so important for us to be more vocal as women, especially
Yeah,
in that
yeah,
regard.
yeah. Because I'm gonna put it out there. I would love to have a radio show, and I
Oh,
would even love
okay.
to be a co-host. I'm not. Look. I want to
Oh,
start as a co-host so I can get into it, learn it more, do it.
you would be amazing, by the way. And I'm
Thank
glad
you.
that you just put that out there, because guess what?
What?
I'm an elevator for you, honey. I will try to help you out. I will put you onto people. Like you know what? The littlest crumb of a conversation could lead to a
Yes,
huge, the cake of your life. So
yes,
always
yes,
put it out
yes.
there. You never know who knows somebody or is in a position to help. So that's
That's true.
amazing.
Thank you. That's my first time saying it out loud. Like, oh.
Say it more. Say it every time you have a podcast. Say it you speak to. Really, just put it out there.
That's true.
Radio people, when I started in radio, we were interns at radio stations. We don't do interns anymore. So the way people are getting on the air is through podcasting. It's through getting a following. You have a huge following, Misfit. You have a huge following. And so this is the way you get on. And then people hear things like this. Hi, you're on with a radio girl. Hi, I just talked to Elizabeth. Listen to her. Oh, she's great. Let's start her out somewhere. So,
That's awesome because
Charlotte,
yeah.
are you listening?
Yeah, I'm like that. That's why I got goosebumps when you said that because listen, a lot of us are we all have dreams. We
Sure.
all have dreams. But a lot of times we are so afraid of
Rejection.
rejection,
Yes.
self-sabotage.
Mm-hmm.
We do things that kind of keep us in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Are you kidding? 1,000%. I know what you mean. And there's an imposter syndrome that goes with that because I sit here sometimes and I'm like, one of these days they're going to find out I'm not really good at what I do here. And they're going to
You're
be like,
amazing at what you do.
thank you. But they're going to be like, please, just like, you weren't ready for all this. So, but yes, I understand that fear. It's fear, but remember the fear you had the first day of school. It's the same fear. It's
Right.
always that. It's just new. It's different.
Right,
But
right.
you're ready for it. You know what I'm saying? You're an
Yes,
innovator. You personally are an innovator. Look at what you've done with your podcast. You started a whole brand. You started
I
a
did.
whole brand.
Yeah.
Okay, Misfit One. And now you need your elevator. You're the innovator. Get your elevator.
Elevator. Hello, elevator. Ella.
Elevator.
I'm
What
like,
floor do you want to go to? That's the only question. Like when you are ready to push those buttons, like the world is your oyster, honey. Like
right,
you can do
right.
whatever you want. And I want all your listeners to know that too.
That's what I was gonna say. Can you give them some words of knowledge on how you figured that out? Because you figured it out. You said
It,
what you wanted.
it took me a long time to figure that out though. But I will say you always have to find somebody that believes in whatever you're doing. I don't care if you are pumping gas at a gas station, if you are the best gas pumper and you're like, I want to be the manager of this gas station. Find the person in your job that will make you the manager of the gas station. Show them what you're doing and come with receipts of how hard you work. This is how much time I've put in. This is how much gas I am pumping. This is how much I sell. I have whatever it is that you do, you have to have something to back it up as to why you're supposed to be elevated, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
get your receipts in order and present your best self so that when that door does open, you're ready to kick in the door. Not somebody like open it a crack. You kick that thing in, and as soon as you get in there, boom, LeBron James it. Power
Oh,
everywhere. Here I am.
yes, that is it. And that's great advice. Listen, you guys, Angie is telling you something that everybody needs to hear, regardless if, like she said, if you a janitor, you sweeping, you better be the best janitor,
Woo!
right?
And then show them. Take pictures of all those floors you
Listen,
swept all night long and be like, I have the shiniest floors in this, and like the Chrysler building. Okay,
yep.
look how shiny that is. So let people see your work because a lot
Yes,
of times they're not checking for you. You have to sometimes gas yourself up because you
right,
are in the business of Misfit One Inc. I'm in the
right.
business of Angi Taylor Inc. If
Yes,
you're Jenny on the street, you're in the business of Jenny on the Street Inc. right now. Nobody
just,
will gas you up more than you. So you have
right.
to do it. And don't feel bad about doing it
That's
because
what I was just about to
because
say.
believe me, there's a
Hmm.
girl behind you that's ready to push you down the stairs. Or
She
there's
ain't
a
scared.
dude, she is not scared. Or there's a dude that has done half the work that already has your job. So go ahead and tell them what you do.
Listen, Angie, you are right on the nose. It's very difficult for me to talk about me. That's a very difficult thing for me. And it goes back to my family and the baby of 7 and you
Yeah.
think you all that, you think you this, you think so you learn to kind of like, okay, well I talk about that's why I got the show. I like to talk about other people. What are you doing? These things like that. And I'm married to a man who can talk about himself all day.
Yeah, but you need to talk about yourself. Stop shrinking. Stop making
Yeah.
yourself small for other people. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Because you
Yeah.
are huge and you have a voice. And this is a beautiful thing that you're doing. Right now, what you're doing, you're empowering so many people and you don't even know.
That's my goal. That really is. That's my mission. I really want all of us to be fit, all of us,
Yes.
because the world will change. I'm telling you, you are proof of it. The
Oh,
world will change when you go into it fit, because no one is going to do it for you, and no
right?
one can do it for you.
Nope. And I love that you encapsulate fitness more than just physical. I love that you're talking about the mind, body, spirit, all of that, the work.
Hmm.
I really feel like as women and as first generation women, Black women, we have generational curses that we need to break.
Girl.
And this is our job to break those so that our children, our grandchildren don't go through this. And the people that are listening to your show are maybe inspired to do more than the tools that we were given from our own family, which a lot of times were not a lot. Because
No, they didn't have tools.
my mom was like, you better learn how to clean the house and cook because you need to marry somebody right away.
Right. Yeah. Oh, exactly. I had three options. I could be a nun, I could
Uh,
be a teacher, or I could be a secretary. But if I was going to be a secretary, you better hope that the boss want to marry you.
oh, so was
Right?
the secretary the most attractive choice of those?
Heck no. Listen, I said I'm gonna be a mechanic. I'm gonna be a bull rider. I'm gonna be girl. I was gonna be
Right.
all kind of stuff.
Whatever
Drove
you want
my
to be.
daddy crazy. Drove
It's
my
crazy.
father insane.
And this is the sin on our parents' generation. They really like never let us explore our dreams and
Right.
explore, let our freak flag fly
That's
and
right.
find out our weird and find out what we were into. So
Right.
they always put this hex on us like you have to be this, put us in a box, blah blah blah. And
And
so
go
that's
ahead.
those curses. I just feel like it's so important.
So how does your family think now? How's your mom them that you done bust out of that box? Have they acknowledged that or noticed it?
They were really cool about it at first. I think my mouth got a little bit too big for the family because I do speak about my abusive upbringing and a lot of the things I went through. And now
Right.
they're like, oh, now you're talking too much, which is such a metaphor for women. It's like, be good, don't be
Not that
great.
good.
Don't,
Hold
oh, just be
on.
good. Too good now. So it goes,
Uh-huh.
it's a wave that I'm riding with them. It's like I said, my family's very old school, very old
Yeah.
country, right off the
Yes.
boat, barely speak English. They don't live this life that we live.
Right. Yeah.
But I'm very, I will take those abrasive moments in order to break chains
Yes.
because I have a daughter that I'm trying to inspire.
I love that. And I'm sure you are. And what's so great about it is that like your family recognized it and say something. My dad realized a long time ago that listen, she's gonna do what she says she's gonna do. So he
Right.
took me out and like, all right, my girl's gonna do it. She says she gonna do it, she's gonna do it. And I love that how he was like, well, okay, all right,
He's
you're doing
supportive.
it.
I
You're
love that.
doing it. Yeah.
Good. And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure your
It's
children are so proud of you. I'm sure
man.
your husband is just like, my wife is a boss. I love that. You're like,
No, no, yeah. It is a very, the thing to me, the most important thing for me is just like you said, Angie, speak up.
mm-hmm.
Don't shrink for anybody. And that's one of the things that I've taught my kids, my girls, because you recognize it in yourself, right? And I don't want you to do this. You should be who you are,
Mm-hmm.
no matter where you are, right?
Mm-hmm. And I
Right.
have a 15-year-old daughter who's in high school, and you know how cliques are and boys are. And I'm like, don't ever change who you are just because you want to fit into this group or because you want this boy to like you. Like, just be you, and people are going to love you eventually, no matter what. Like, who cares? It's
And
a small moment in time, that high school time. And you'll realize that even though it's everything right now, it's hard for teenagers to think beyond next week, let
mhm,
alone after high school. So
mhm,
that's a hard
mhm.
conversation to have because I probably wouldn't listen to that advice either. But you're right about the speak up thing. That's one thing I've always instilled in her. And she does do that in school. If she doesn't understand something, I'm like, don't be scared to raise your hand and say, I don't get it. Because they're going to move on without you. And then you're really not going to get it. So
Right.
always speak up. And what is the worst thing somebody could say? You're not ready for this yet. You know,
Right.
maybe
So what
later.
do I need to do to get ready? Then, huh?
Exactly. And then
Right.
you're on their radar for when that moment does come. Like, oh, she told me she wants this. Let's see if she's ready now because I
Mhm.
gave her the idea. So we do not get anything if we do not ask for it.
Right.
Point blank, period, end of story, dot, dot.
Dot. That's a drop mic moment. And listen, this is why we love you,
I love
Angie. We
you. I
love
love
you
you.
because you are you.
I
You're
am
not
me.
trying to be somebody else,
No,
not trying to fit in that box.
no.
You are you. Now tell us, how can we love you more by getting more of your show?
Okay, so you can listen to the show, Rock 95.5 Chicago. It's on the iHeartRadio app. That's a free app. You can download that. Just search for that. Also, you can find me on social, Angi Taylor, A-N-G-I. There is no E, A-N-G-I Taylor Show or Angi Taylor Radio and Rock 95.5 Show. So thank you so much for having me on, Elizabeth. You are inspiring to me.
Oh,
Very much
thank
so.
you.
Look at your
Thank
brand and look at
you.
everything you've built. And the next radio goddess I'm talking
You heard it, Lord, from your
about.
mouth to God's ears, girl.
Put it up there. Receive it. Receive it.
Thank you so much for taking time out today and sharing your story, how you have really changed the game. And we are proud of you as women.
Thank you.
We are 100% behind you, guys. Go out, listen to her show, support her, give her love.
Yeah.
And till next week,
All
stay
right.
fit.
Thank you, love.